Hey, it's Rick with Rock Bottom Outreach. It's Real Talk Thursday. Had a great Bible study last night at Brad's house. Brad Nelson. He hosts the RBO Word, him and Carla. And I loved the scripture they selected, the topic they selected. I read it before I went over there, and I'm like, wow, this is just, this is strong. Love for your enemies, actually out of the book of Luke. Before I get into that, I saw on Facebook how someone put a picture of a rattlesnake with a set of car keys in front of it. And the question was, what would you do? Would you grab the keys or would you just walk home? I mean, make a choice. And so either way, there's a consequence. I mean, if you grab the keys, you may get bit by the snake, or you can walk 10 miles home or however far. And so, I mean, you have a choice, and understand there's something that comes with that choice. But again, it brought me to this right here, this scripture that I'm talking about today, because God gives you free will. He gives you free will, and we talked about this last night, of why God is so passionate about this. A passage that is titled, Love for Enemies. And you may go, Rick, I know, blah, 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 blah. I know, forgive the enemies, turn the other cheek. I know, right? Whatever. But you know what? You take it lightly, and you shouldn't take it so lightly, because God is very specific on this, okay? Again, you got free will of what you choose to do, but there might be a consequence because of it. And the end result may not be exactly what you expect. And so, let me read to you real quick. The beginning of it says, chapter 6, verse 27, but I tell you who hear me, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you. That's a strong word, hate. Bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. If someone strikes you on the cheek, turn the other cheek. If someone takes your cloak, do not stop him. Okay, but now let's go to the bottom, where it says in verse 34, and if you lend to those from whom you expect repayment, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners. But love your enemies, do good to them, lend to them without expecting anything in return. So we're talking about motives now. Then your reward will be great. Your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High, okay? At the bottom, it says, love your enemies. The heart of Jesus' teaching is love. Okay? Remember the first two commandments, love the Lord, and secondly is to love thy neighbor. Both of those passages have to do with love specifically. This right here has to do with love. So if that is said multiple times and love is a verb, then I think God is pretty serious about it. And so, because we are so geared to respond to how we feel in this day and time, I feel like quitting my job. I feel like breaking up with you. I feel like getting a divorce. I feel like this. I feel like this. I feel like this. The way you feel is not specifically God's will for your life. Because understand, when you love only when you feel like loving, that is not God's design of love. Love is a verb. Love is an action. Love is a choice. Free will, again, but with it comes a consequence with that choice. Again, we're so geared to, I don't feel like loving you today. Love is a choice. Bottom line. And you're like, okay, Rick, you got my attention. I get it. But you don't get it. Let me explain this to you. Every choice that you make has to do with you being in right standing with God. And how God sees you right standing, righteous, to be right with God. So, what you choose to do is very important. And so when God tells you to forgive, then you need to forgive. Again, love is an action. If you don't know how to do that, to forgive, turn the other cheek, there's counseling. There's ways to walk through that. Again, the Bible's clear on it. You can say, I love you or I forgive you all day long, but if your actions don't back it up, then I promise you your heart's not right. So if your heart is sour, then you are not in right standing with God. You need to learn to ask yourself this. With this choice I make, will God be pleased with me? Again, with this choice that I make, will God be pleased with my choice? Hey, it's Rick with Rock Bottom Outreach. It's been a Real Talk Thursday. Bam, baby!